What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Best Bet Show. As always, I'm your host, Matty Chucks, with my two co-hosts on this show, I guess, Austin's Props and Mr. Alex Caruso. As always, we'll start with Austin first. How are we feeling today, bro?
Bro, fired up. It's been a while since we've all been able to be here. We all were doing some stuff, traveling and all that, but hey, we're here. It's a great day. Can't really say anything else. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, yesterday was a tough day on the betting streets, but again, we're back today trying to go for better than ever. It's a double day, NBA, NFL, Thursday night football. It doesn't really get much better than that.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely. Man. Literally, it's my favorite day. You know this. Thursdays are just beautiful across the board. I know you guys have gotten your NBA stuff out. I've gotten my NBA stuff out. It's time to focus on football. I know we all haven't finalized our plays yet, but we know what we're leaning / talking about. To go over the basics of this game, both teams 7-7. Saints are traveling to LA to face the Rams. 46-point total, 3.5-point spread. I see a couple fours across the board. Before we get into props, what are your guys' thoughts on this game as far as spreads and totals?
Yeah, sorry, I was just getting the tweet out, trying to get everyone in here. For me, man, I'm pretty undecided. I was looking at this one, 45.5-point total, 4-point spread with leaning the Rams. I'm curious to hear Alex's opinion on this one, and I think it might form mine more. I guess I'm leaning the Rams -4, I would say.
Yeah, I think that I would also be leaning the Rams -4. I think the big reason why is just how bad the Saints have been lately in the ground game. I mean, they're averaging giving up over 5 yards a carry over their last 5 games. They've been really bad against running backs. Kyron Williams is probably the hottest running back in the NFL right now, in terms of straight up rushing yards. And I really like the way that Cooper Kupp has come alive the last 2 games. I think this team is firing. I think they're going to try to make one final playoff run with their cap and things like that. And I just don't think that the Saints, at least on the offensive side of the ball, are going to have enough juice. And I think the Rams are going to do just enough defense to give us at least that 4 points.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. I think this game is close. I'm not going to bet a side. I'm a little biased on the Saints, though. I think the Saints are a little bit better than what people think, but I do love the Rams as well. I think Sean McVay is also a top 3 coach in the league, in my opinion, one of my favorite coaches, and he's going to find a way to win. I love Matt Stafford, and their passing game is unbelievable. Like Alex said, Kyron Williams is red hot right now, and when they establish the run game, they're very tough to beat. As you could look at Matt Stafford's game log in the last 3 games. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games, and only 1 pick in the last 4 games, 0 picks in the last 3 games. When they establish the run game, it allows for Matt Stafford to just have a lot of 3rd and shorts, be more comfortable, and it allows the Rams to be a lot better. My dog is barking in the background. If you guys can hear, he hears someone at my door.
Oh, good.
So I apologize for that. But I love this game. I love both teams. I want to see both these teams in the playoffs. In the standings wise, the Saints will take the lead in their division, and the Rams, if they win, they'll pass the Seahawks for the 2nd place in their division and also get a huge wild card gain there. So it's a big game. We talked about Kyron Williams. We talked about Cooper Kupp. Is there anybody on the Saints that you like in this game, or are you leaning more Rams heavy player props?
I was looking at the quarterback play. I think for me, like, I think this game's going to stay competitive, and I think the game's going to go pretty fast. Both of them are at 34.5 pass attempts. I think one of those guys goes significantly under, but I could see the other one go soaring over. I just think this game's these spreads on prime times, when they stay close and competitive throughout, typically the pass attempts are a little sweaty. Usually you need one of the teams. Like, usually we're trying to predict the team that's going to fall behind early. You know what I mean? And for this one, I genuinely can't confidently say. I lean Rams, like I said, but like you said, also the Saints team's there, they're better than people give them credit for, even though they haven't necessarily played to it. Like, on paper, they should be a better team than they've shown.
I agree.
The one prop that I think I'm going to be playing a lot tonight that I don't think people are going to be very excited about has to be Alvin Kamara on the unders for rush attempts, because 1, I think the Rams are going to be leading in this game, and 2, Alvin Kamara has dropped in snaps for 5 straight games now. His last 3 games have been 58% of the snaps, 54% of the snaps, and then 52% of the snaps. Taysom Hill is back. He's supposed to be fully healthy, no injury designation. We're seeing other guys get some more carries. So I'd be taking Kamara under 12.5 rush attempts. I think there's a lot of outs on that play. The other thing that I'm probably going to be playing is Chris Olave over receiving yards. Anytime you have a clear wide receiver one at a line about 60, and there's no Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed has been banged up the last couple of weeks. I think this is a good matchup, schematically for Chris Olave. I think that it favors him a lot in a game where I think they're going to be trailing a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm trying to look at some Taysom Hill props myself, honestly. I just think later on in the year, he's just a Swiss Army knife himself. He's just so useful if you use him right. And I think he's gonna be a lot more involved on a short week. I do like that spot. I'm having a hard time thinking the over under in this game. I could see this game being 2017, or I could see this game being a shootout. And I am having trouble picking my props based off that. I already played Haversick field goals for the Rams. I think he'll get 2 attempts. It's up to him to make them. That's really the only worry. I like the QB pass attempts. I think both these teams are going to be pass heavy. Both these teams, the Saints defense is good. I think they can stop Kyren Williams a bit. His line is so high. I'm not saying they'll stop him for like 40 yards, but his line is so high. I think the only way to stop the Rams is you have to stop the run game. But again, they're so dangerous. And I never can pick between Puka and Cup. Regardless, I feel like I just always have trouble with that. I'm looking at the rushing props in the Saints as far as like Taysom Hill or maybe like a Jamal Williams early on. If I don't see the lines yet, but I'm having trouble with Kamara. I want to bet him in the receiving game, but then Olave's back, so I'm getting worried there. I do like his receptions, but it's very high. So if I wish it was more of a lower number, but again, both pass attempts at 34.5, like Austin said, the books think they're throwing the ball. So
Right.
gotta be some angle in a receiver or a tight end that I have not found yet. But I do like both quarterbacks to throw a pick. I don't want to have to pick between the two. But as far as the Rams, Austin, do you have any Rams props that you want to talk about?
I mean, for me, like the Kyren Williams, I know he's a beast. I know he's a stud, but like that line is starting to inflate. Like it's starting to get up there. 114 rush and receive yards. Like I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to take the under, but it's something I'm going to look at. I know he's been insane the last 4 or 5 weeks, but I don't know that line's starting to get up into like Christian McCaffrey type level. And I don't know if the Rams is like what they're doing is that sustainable. You know what I mean? I really don't, but nothing on the Ram side a ton. I like Chris Olave, like Alex said, a lot. I think his 60.5 receiving yards is too low. I think that's a really good spot. I liked his receptions. I think it came out minus 125 at 4.5. I see it on DraftKings minus 150. I think if you can find a better line for 4.5, I think that's a pretty solid, like safe line as well. Just because at a 34.5 pass attempt total, like there has to be volume going to the receiver spot. And like he said, no Mike Thomas. Who else is going to get those looks? You know what I mean? So I think Olave should be pretty active. That's a guy I'm likely going to play today.
Alex, any thoughts on the Rams side of things? Or are you still looking through?
I think Kyren Williams is my play. Austin doesn't like him. I probably wouldn't take the Russian receiving. Anytime the line is that high and it's not Christian McCaffrey, I'm not dying to pick it, but I think the run defense is still really weak. I think the receiving game is a little bit more scary because Kyren Williams does not see a lot of targets. They're mostly like in the screen game. I think those can be a little bit fickle. I wouldn't touch his receiving props, but I really like his rushing props with how bad the Saints have been versus running backs over the last 5 weeks or so. On the receiving side of the ball, I mean, Cooper Kupp obviously heating up over 110 yards the last 2 weeks. Cooper Kupp almost never ever goes under a line like this at 60, but he's been a little inconsistent. I don't want to necessarily just start putting money on him because of that, but something I'm going to look into. Kyren Williams is probably my favorite prop from the Rams side.
Yeah, it's so hard to pick between those guys. I feel like there's so many guys, so many outs in that game that Stafford can really go to. Just even obviously the Commanders was a Swiss cheese, defense where Cooper Kupp was able to torch, even with Kyren Williams having 152 rushing yards on 27 carries. You also have to think in the short week after a 27 carry game and his injury history, you have to assume he's not going to take as many of those carries. Like I would assume Freeman takes a lot more carries. To me, especially with the playoffs coming up, I know these are must-win games, but coming off 27 carry game on a short week, is it's
That's
tough.
yeah, that's a lot. And he fumbled once and still had all that like volume, which is also a good sign, I guess. If you like one is over, like they're gonna feed him. This game is challenging. I feel like we sometimes say in those ugly games, like we complain about them, but you usually can find more like safer plays. I feel like in the uglier games. This game, I feel like there's not a ton of just safe plays. You know what I mean? Like I could see the over or the under on a lot of these props.
It's tough because Kyron Williams' attempts are 19.5. And on a short week, it makes me want to say yes, but he's had 27, 25, and 21 the last 3 weeks. Like at this point, is he just getting the green light and letting him go? It's definitely caught my eye on the Kyron under in some way. I'm just so nervous on the game script too.
It's a ballsy under, that's for sure. Because like he's been so good.
Yeah. I'm gonna look more into it. As far as that goes, we kind of talked about the way we're leaning in this game. Do we just go right into first touchdown scores?
Yeah.
I will let Austin. Austin, did you look at it or no?
I'll let Alex go first since he's hit the most of them this season. I will.
Is that what we're doing?
I'll give
Okay.
him the honor.
Yeah, I think today it's got to be Chris Olave, at plus 1,000. It's probably better odds than some other books beyond DraftKings. But again, Chris Olave, I think, is a prime play for this week just because, like we talked about, Saints do not have a lot of options right now. I don't think it's going to be done in the run game. I think it's going to be through the air where they score the first touchdown. Chris Olave having the 6th best odds to score the first touchdown to me today just seems like good value. I like his matchup. I like the spot for him. I think that he's probably the best bet today.
I like that. Austin, do you have your guy?
Yeah, I liked Olave. That's who I was going to go. But I think I'll go Taysom Hill plus 1,300. I know you were probably going to say him, but just so many different ways he can get in. They love to use him at QB, especially in the red zone. I feel like he could vulture one here.
I literally had Olave and Taysom Hill as my 1 and 2, so I'm going to stop letting you guys go first from now on. I guess I have to pivot to a Rams player. And I obviously can't do Kyron Williams after all that talk and the price.
Incoming Tyler Higbee.
I'm going to go Tyler Higbee plus 1,500. Absolutely on DraftKings. He's gonna throw to his tight end. It's going to be a beauty. I'm not picking any of those wide receivers. Tyler Higbee is going to get his first catch, and it's going to be a touchdown. Plus 1,500 on DraftKings. Anyone else? This guy knows.
Yeah.
That guy knows.
Kid's sharp.
That's sharp. But yeah, those are all the things that we're leaning. Again, it's an interesting game, and these games are going to get very playoff-esque going into these final couple weeks, especially with these both teams that need to win. So it's going to be strictly matchup based. I would probably toss a lot of old game logs out of the equation and just focus on what they're looking to do against this team, especially in the matchup. That's going to be it for today. Best of luck on your bets today. Stay tuned on all of our Twitter pages for all of our NFL plays coming out. We told you guys the leans, told you guys where we're leaning, and told you where we're going and what we like. That's all. Catch you guys on Sunday. Right?
Yeah,
Today's
Sunday
Thursday.
morning. Yeah,
the whole Christmas thing. Wait, no, Sunday's Christmas.
Yeah, you probably won't see us on
You'll
Sunday.
see us the day after Christmas on Monday. I knew something was going on. But have a Merry Christmas, cash some bets, win those parlays. See you guys next time.